What?
It's mighty strange. You looking happily deranged. I can't settle a shin bed. Or have you picked your target yet? It's ended. Don't you dog bite? It's ended.
That's the twist. There ain't no cold open. This is Online for Maintenance episode number 18. There ain't no cold open. I'm Connor.
I'm Hannah.
And this is theoretically the official podcast of MMOFallout.com. Always keeping them guessing. You can check us out on patreon.com/MMOFallout. That's patreon.com/MMOFallout. You can find me at MMOFallout.com, and you can find Hannah in the heart attack ward, where she will probably be after the show today. How's it going?
It's going great. Oh my god. Okay.
This is what we call
everybody.
pulling things out of our
Welcome to the
ass.
show. What's that?
This is what we call pulling things out of our ass in the production world.
Yeah, but I didn't know it was on yet. All right. So yeah, video games.
Yes, we do try to talk about video games here. I had a completely different opening. I had a completely different title for the episode, and then it just hit me like a rock, and I pivoted. And the audience will never know the full context for why.
Nor will I know exactly how this will be cut until it's out. All right. So we occasionally
Hey,
talk about video games.
What it's like to live in a country with circumcision.
Oh, Jesus. Don't forget to thank the patrons this week.
Thank you to the patrons. I did mention patreon.com/MMOFallout. You might have been in the middle of having a stroke while I was giving that opening.
Yeah, that opening was a lot for me. Oh my gosh.
You can join us and help fund whatever the hell this is for as little as $1 a month. And you can check us out on YouTube, where I've been very bad at uploading videos that are not the podcast over the last few weeks.
Oh, yeah.
I feel like I started the episode by like the podcast equivalent of deliberately misfiring my car engine. So Hannah, what have you been up to this week in the world of playing video games?
Mostly the same old, same old. I've been playing Minecraft and Jump Ship. The demo for Jump Ship was actually extended by a week. So I've been playing more of that. I want to play more of that today after the podcast. But it's really fun. I really enjoyed it.
I'm having a lot of fun with it.
Yeah, I want to get into more of the later missions because, like Deep Rock Galactic, once you've experienced the mission, you know what to do. So once you get into the mission and you start like you go into it, there's different paths that you can take. So you may be able to like take a different path on that same kind of mission before. Plus, I think every day there's like the types of missions refresh, so there are different options every day for you. But then there's harder missions that take more time, and I think you need to upgrade your ship a little bit to get to do those, because I had tried to do a level 5 previously and I just got annihilated. So we have gotten a couple of upgrades on the ship. We've earned some money, and I know we've upgraded the auxiliary reactor on my ship. There's some stuff that they don't exactly tell you how it works, and I need to look more in depth on how that is, because there's you get like a grid for your engine and you place the modules onto the grid to power them up, but there's blue spots on them as well, because they're normally like the powered spots are just normally green, but there's additional blue spots, and I'm still not sure exactly what they do. I think it's linked to, like, if you lose power on your ship, those particular spots don't lose power, so you can keep modules alive even if your ship is, like, dying.
Okay.
But I don't really see how that works because I haven't really experienced just like a power outage in the game yet. Um, I have experienced fires. Those are really annoying and can get out of hand really quickly. Um, but other
Yeah,
than
the
that,
fires can be hard to find too.
yeah, and you kind of need to work in coordination with the pilot because the pilot can see the ship overall, and you can see where it is a lot easier as the pilot, and then have the pilot direct, like, okay, it's on the outside of the ship in the back, go there with the fire extinguisher. The fact of that you can get on fire outside of the ship is a little bit weird because you're in space. You can't technically have fires. So it's odd. And then they don't tell you too that there's vents that you have to go into in order to put out the fire. And so I know that there was one time where I kept trying to put out the fire and it just kept coming back because I didn't know where it was, and I assume it was in one of those vents.
Hmm.
But I really like the mechanic of, like, everybody just kind of on their own can just do whatever they want and take care of the ship in that way. Um, It seems as though you absolutely need a pilot, though. You can set cruise control to keep going straight, but other than that, um, if you get out of the ship, or if you get out of the pilot ship or the pilot seat, the ship stops moving. I feel like they need to work on that a little bit more because if you're playing solo and you get out of the ship to, like, say you're running from somebody and your shields get knocked off and you get out of the seat and you don't hit your cruise control, well, now you've just abruptly halted the ship. You've got to get back in your seat, get back up to speed, hit cruise control, and go.
Yeah.
Again, single player, this is a very big problem. Two or more players, obviously, this isn't that big of a problem. You just call, I usually just tell person, hey, shields are down, and they run out and they go do it while I'm dodging attacks. Um, so I feel like the game needs to be focused, needs to work on its single player elements a little bit more. But other than that, I'm so much enjoying it. I can't wait for a release date.
Yeah, I've been having a lot of fun with it.
What do you like about it?
I like the teamwork. I like the shooting. The I really like the rail gun. Um, I did enjoy when we were going through, and I like the base raids where you have to go in and steal boxes of stuff and then get it out before the reinforcements come. That was really, like, on the edge when we were trying to get that one supply box back, and the our ship was getting bombarded with attacks, and we had to unhook. I like the fact that when reinforcements come, it's only one set of reinforcements, because I had it in my head that once the timer ticked down, that it would just be kind of a never-ending stream of reinforcements, with the idea being, like, that's when you have to go.
Yeah.
But the fact that it was only one wave of reinforcements, we fought them off, we repaired the ship, and then we went back and just kept doing what we were doing.
Yeah, it's a nice, like, yeah, you took too long, but you're not gonna be completely punished. You're not gonna get,
Yeah.
like, you're not out the prize out of this. One of the things that I didn't like was that it seemed like a lot of the loot was very repetitive.
Hmm.
Like, if you were to go, like, hunt down a Corvette ship, you get the same piece of loot every single time, and
Yeah,
that might just be part of the demo. They may not
possibly.
have put that many parts in the demo.
The only thing I didn't really like was the Corvette. When you get the item and it immediately starts the self-destruct sequence,
Yeah.
I always have a hard time figuring out where the hell I need to go after that.
It's basically
I
get back on the ship.
no, I know that, but I always have a problem finding the ship.
Oh, fair.
Because by that point, like in the time that it takes to board the Corvette, the thing is like spinning, and usually it's drifting and spinning. And that kind of causes its own problems with the physics, I notice. Because like on the one Corvette we were trying to get on top of, I had trouble with the thing recognizing and getting my feet planted on the ground because the thing was spinning.
Mm-hmm.
And also I noticed that the spinning Corvette completely broke the AI, where they were trying to keep level with where they were with the ship, the flying enemies, and like it just completely broke their pathfinding.
Oh, I didn't notice.
Where we were shooting them and they just weren't reacting at all.
Now that you mention that, yeah, that does make sense. Because like when you do shoot them, they don't really shoot back or anything. They just kind of sit there like, and I guess that was them trying to reposition themselves with the ship.
I noticed that the faster the Corvette is drifting and spinning, the more broken the AI becomes.
Okay. It does eventually slow down and stop, but I think it's like movement stops, but it still continues to turn.
Yeah.
Which is a very odd, like it should just come to a halt, really. I know that's not realistic in terms of space because things in space just keep moving, but
But it's a video game.
It-
It's not expected to be completely realistic.
yeah, in video game space, it's like it should just come to a halt at some point, regardless of its orientation.
Yeah.
But yeah, I look forward to playing more of that. It's been a lot of fun. So, and it looks pretty. Like,
It runs really well on my computer.
yeah, me too. Like that's the other thing about it is it's nice. So yeah, jump ship everybody. And then I've been playing Minecraft like usual. Because I love Minecraft.
Anything fun coming out of Minecraft?
So I've been working on my house more. I think I'm mostly finished with the overall structure of my house. I have settled on 4 floors. It's technically like 3.5 floors because one of them's like a storage floor. It's mostly just decoration anyway. We've got the basement, which has like I am so thrilled with how my basement looks because I've got like hanging lights and just stuff on the walls. It just looks cluttered and like really, really nicely built. But then you go up to the first floor of the house and it's like, this is just a basic house. Like this is just a basic ass house. Why does the basement look amazing? And up here it's like it's just kind of barren and it's just kind of like not really well worked on. So I'm gonna work on furnishing the house and trying to make the 2 floors of like the above ground level way more interesting. So
Okay.
I think that's my next goal is to try to just work on overall detail of what I want to go with. Because I think the way that it looks is on the outside is fine. I might add some bushes, I might add some more like couple decorations here or there, but nothing that needs like overall structure built. I'm pretty happy in that regard. There's some other stuff that I want to do, like some landscaping, and then I've got to finish a bridge that I've also built to get to my house too. So I still got a lot of work ahead of me. It's nice having just a forever project in Minecraft. For those of you who play, I got to get you back into it.
Maybe.
Yeah, it's fun. But yeah, Bedrock continues to piss me off because it's so slow. It's just everything about it just seems slower than Java. Java's like really quick and snappy depending on what you're doing. Like especially if you want to move items from like your inventory to a chest. Java lets you just like pick up an item, double click on stuff and move everything over. Or just like shift click 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 and then go. Bedrock, you have to go a lot slower. Like it seems like it's looking for this like a server response more so than Java Edition is. So you have to like confirm everything you're doing, and it feels a lot slower, but it's I think it's fine. Um, at some point I will figure out Bedrock Redstone, but at the moment I kind of putting it to the side.
Okay.
But yeah, not a whole lot going on in Minecraft other than just continuing the build. So how about you? What have you played this week?
I have played a few games this week. I've been playing FBC Firebreak.
Okay, yeah, that
That
one
is,
just came out.
that's the cooperative shooter set in the Control universe. I've been playing it mostly because it came out on Xbox Game Pass, and I've been playing it on my Xbox. So if you don't know FBC Firebreak, it's a little Left 4 Dead-y in the sense that you have up to 3 people. There's 5 levels currently, and the 3 of you, up to 3 people, every level has its own distinct objective. Like the second level has you going in and clearing out possessed sticky notes.
Mm-hmm.
The fifth level has you finding and using portable torches to melt paranormal ice storms that have become a plague in part of the office.
Okay.
And in all of the levels, you're also fighting off hordes of enemies from Control. They have hotfixed the game because, like every single player developer who has developed a multiplayer live service game, initially the progression was very slow and very convoluted. They had weapon upgrades and abilities mixed in with cosmetics, and people got pissed. So what they ended up doing was they split the functional items and the cosmetics into 2 separate tracks. So you don't have to get cosmetics in order to unlock the next page of functional things. And they sped up progression pretty significantly. I like it. I compare it to Left 4 Dead because every level has 3 complexity settings.
Mm-hmm.
And that decides kind of how long the level is. So for the sticky note level, for instance, if you have it set at level 1, you go in, you clear out sticky notes, go to the elevator, leave. If you have it set to complexity 3, you clear out the sticky notes, get a horde of enemies, clear out more sticky notes, horde of enemies, new area, more sticky notes, then you go to the elevator.
Gotcha.
And I like how the game has powerful enemies, but they're also using the Control storytelling where they're like ex-employees that have been taken over by the Hiss. So it's like there's a powerful enemy approaching. It's Margaret. And they just use the person's, like, the employee's name. It's
That's
just
honestly funny.
the anticlimax of having just like, it's Jonathan, and he's a powerful Hiss enemy now, but also he worked in accounting before, and he's still just kind of a dork. I do think the game is pretty fun. It's very repetitive.
Mm-hmm.
But also I liked Left 4 Dead. It doesn't have any of the storytelling that Left 4 Dead did. Each level is pretty straightforward. There's not a lot of lore stuff to get out of it. But I do enjoy it. It is a game. I think I would be more annoyed with it if I paid the game itself. If you don't have Game Pass, is $40, which I think is a pretty good price for it. So it's not like they're not charging premium prices. It does have a battle pass style progression, but I don't think that it's a seasonal pass. Like once you buy it, it's unlocked forever. But the game's been getting some pretty mixed reviews. It has definitely not been very enticing to the Remedy crowd. It has a peak of 1,900, like a little bit less than 2,000 players on Steam, and there's something like 500 people playing it right now.
That's not very good for a game that just came out.
No.
Especially from Remedy, because they're known for really good stuff.
It's not very good for a game that they kind of expected to support with regular updates. So I can kind of see this one, unless they got some funding for it that they already, made, that they already have updates mostly finished. I really don't see this one getting long-term support.
Mm-hmm.
It is fun though. It's another one of those cases of it doesn't really matter, because people who like Remedy Entertainment for Alan Wake, Control, it's a single player studio being forced to make a multiplayer game, and we've learned over the last few years that never really works out. And also the people who really liked Alan Wake and Control and those games, what do you get out of this? I mean, I kind of like it. I think I would like it a lot less if I spent $40 on it. But as a Game Pass game that I'll play for a couple of weeks, I think it's fine.
There is also day one DLC, which is never a good thing.
Yeah, they have a day one. So there's the base game battle pass, and then there's an expansion battle pass. And then there's the ultimate edition, which is another $10.
Eek. I'm not sure. Yeah, I'm really not sure who this is for then.
I don't know. I mean, the game itself, like I said, the game itself, I do like the game. It's enjoyable. It's not something that I would play for long stretches of time, but going in, once every couple of days and playing a level or two, I could see myself playing this for a good amount of time. Yeah, that one's fun. So the second game that I played, I've been fully back on the Fortnite train over the last week or two. Fortnite introduced a new mode, because exactly what Fortnite needs is another new mode.
Split the player base yet again.
Exactly. But this one's been pretty popular. It's Blitz Royale. The last I checked, it had something like 280,000 people playing it.
All right.
Blitz Royale is effectively a made for mobile game mode. It's 32 players on a very small map. And it's basically complete chaos, because every player starts out with a specific weapon and a medallion so it's sourcing content from all kinds of previous seasons. And the whole idea is that the games are meant to be started and finished within about 5 minutes.
Oh wow.
So it's for mobile. It was built for mobile because Fortnite came back to Apple, and they're pushing it more, like they're pushing it more mobile worldwide, and even on desktop it's fine, but it's 32 people, much smaller map, a lot less sweaty than Reload.
Okay, that sounds good.
And then every week is they have a new event every week to keep people coming back. So like the first week they had mythic versions of weapons. They have a weekend event going right now, which is the Golden Llama, where every event a Golden Llama spawns somewhere on the map and it has all kinds of crazy weapons in it. They're bringing back the Avatar weapons next week.
Okay.
They're bringing back they're bringing back a lot of old powerful boss weapons the week after that. And then July 8th, they're bringing in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles weapons.
Ooh, Cowabunga.
Mm-hmm. So I got some cool stuff. I am waiting. Speaking of Reload, they're doing a thing in a couple of weeks with Reload where they're turning it into a Squid Game mode.
Okay.
Where you play the games from Squid Game, like red light, green light.
Oh, okay, all right.
Like it's an official crossover. Presumably because the last season of Squid Game is coming out, I think this week.
I saw the first episode of Squid Game and I was like, I can't really watch more of this. I'm okay with violence. This was like ultra violence, and I was like, I really couldn't handle it.
I loved Squid Game.
I probably
I
sit down
do
and
think
watch
that the first season is worth watching. The games themselves are a very small part of the show. Like the second episode doesn't actually feature any games themselves. It's just all about the main cast and like how they got there and why they're there. I haven't thought much about Squid Game since the second season came out, but now that the season is here, I'm kind of getting interested in watching it again. I have to re-up my Netflix subscription.
I did like it. It was just a lot to take in.
Yeah.
Like, I guess what I wasn't expecting, because they had said it's really violent, but I had not expected that level of violence.
Right. It is a heartbreaking show.
Yeah, that was another thing, is it was very like emotional roller coaster kind of thing of like, holy crap, these people are putting themselves through this and literally risking their lives for just money.
Yeah. Because they knew the big question everyone would have going into it is, why would people put themselves through this? And then it tells you exactly why. Yeah, I can't wait. I'm actually, the more I think about the last season coming up, I think part of the reason why I'm excited for it is knowing that it's the last season. And that they're, cutting it off there. And that it's not going to be this thing that Netflix milks for eternity until people get tired of it.
Yeah, because I'm tired of seeing things like The Simpsons. I love The Simpsons, don't get me wrong, but it is like, I've accepted that show will never end. At this point, they'll just recast everybody once all the voice actors have moved on, or more or less once everybody dies, I guess.
Yeah.
Because that's basically the only time that they're going to recast people for The Simpsons, if they ever do. But like, I don't want to see something end up with 36, 37 seasons. where they're just churning it out just to make it.
Right. But on Fortnite, so they Fortnite OG Season 4 came out alongside the new superhero season, and people have been getting more interested in the story because there's been some small things going on in Fortnite OG with the character skins and little things over the island that suggest that OG is actually canon to the story in the original, and that the
Really?
two modes are actually talking to each other.
Oh, okay.
So there's a live event on July 26th that's going to close out season 4, and there's been a bunch of people like a bunch of lore hounds reading into the stuff that's going on in OG, parallels between the OG season and the original chapter 1, and it seems like Epic's planning like a wider story thing for the main mode and OG and how they fit in with each other. But in addition to that, there is a new Fortnite festival season, and Epic trolled everyone because they spent the weeks leading up to the new season planting dead mouse imagery in their art and like putting fake shit in the game's code to make it to leak out that dead mouse was going to be the head of the new season. And then they're like, it's Bruno Mars. Like last minute they dropped that it was Bruno Mars.
That's kind of funny.
Yeah. So yeah, Bruno Mars is the new Fortnite festival. The season, the wraparound for the season.
So then there's Bruno Mars songs in the rhythm game thing then, right?
Yeah.
Oh, cool. We gotta go play that.
There's Bruno Mars songs. There's Bruno Mars skins. Oddly enough, on the Battle Pass, they have ABC by the Jackson 5.
Oh, okay. Cool.
And then, of course, the Fortnite Festival stage is Bruno Mars themed. But it just took everyone by surprise because they were throwing out all kinds of red herrings that it was either going to be deadmau5 or Daft Punk, and that it turned out to be neither of them. Just a little bit of trolling for the data miners and the people who read heavily into the backgrounds that they put out. But yeah, I've been playing Fortnite. I also played the demo for a game called Rogue Point.
Okay.
I published a review of the demo on MMO Fallout because for some reason I took a press key with the obligation to write a review, and then I realized that the demo was actually out public, so I still had to write a review of it. Even though I could have just downloaded the demo when it was made public. I didn't even get the full game. It was just the demo copy.
Oh, really?
But,
oh, damn.
So Rogue Point is in development by Crowbar Collective, and you may know them as the developers of Black Mesa. Rogue Point, it is a cooperative shooter, a little bit in the realm of like a SWAT or a Ready or Not, where you play as SWAT team members going into a building. You have different things like finding intel, defusing bombs, killing certain mercs, and then at the end of the level you have to extract and leave alive. It is a roguelike game, so you're kind of expected to fail. You have only a certain number of attempts before your whole run is reset. and I was not a big fan of the demo for multiple reasons that are really stupid game design. So the game sets out to screw you from the beginning. You go into the first mission and you have $1,000 and a very rudimentary pistol. Because this is the developers made Black Mesa, so naturally, like everything that they do has to be kind of Valve adjacent. So of course, as a counter-terrorist game, you have to buy your own equipment because Counter-Strike.
Yeah.
The game gives you $1,000 and it plants in front of you. It has loot boxes for weapons. So you can spend $1,000 and roll for a potentially decent gun or just get crap and just ruin your run right off the bat.
Oh, wow.
Or you can use the $1,000 to get a moderately shitty gun that is also not going to help you much. So you can literally ruin you can ruin your run immediately. And if you die, you get 2 attempts before your run is done. So if you die in the first level, you also don't keep your weapons. So like if you get killed in the first level and then go back, you have nothing. The game, for some reason I do not understand, does not let you pick up guns or ammo off of the enemies that you kill.
What?
Evidently, everyone has a death grip because they hold on to their guns and you cannot take them. Which means that if you kill a dude with a shotgun, you can't get that shotgun.
That's a little weird. That's an odd game choice or game design choice.
It also means that if you have really bad luck with your weapons, or like let's say you get to level 2, you die, now you're stuck in a level that has snipers. And you might have a pistol because that's all you can afford. And you can't pick up the guns that the enemies drop, like can't pick up their shotguns, can't pick up their rifles, can't pick up anything. I said in my review that it makes the game feel like it has a contempt for the player. Because it's just trying to... It's trying as hard as it can to make itself as unenjoyable as possible.
That's weird.
But it also advertises itself as a tactical shooter.
Yeah, I'm not really sure what direction they're going. If you can't pick up guns, and you can also get if it's just if you get a loot box gun, it's random. So some people are getting screwed, other people are getting crazy good stuff, that means, and the game's going to feel really easy. So the experience from this game seems like it's very inconsistent.
Yep. The demo gives a very misleading view of the game because the demo is very much like stealth, slow, tactics, using your cover. And then when you get in the game, it kicks off, pretty much all of the levels kick off with very short timers. Bomb timers, merc timers. The timers are low enough that you can't move slowly, like you can't move slow because you're not going to have enough time. On the level with the bombs, it might give you like 5 or 6 minutes. And you have to beeline to the bomb, which throws all of the tactics out the window. Most of the enemies don't use tactics at all. The AI in the game is very rudimentary, and that might also be because it's a pre-alpha demo build. the AI acts like the AI in Half-Life 2. They just walk at the player.
Okay.
They don't use cover, they don't look for cover, they don't use any sort of tactical and any sort of tactics. They just walk at you. But also it's a tactical game, so they have very high accuracy. So most of the level is just kind of tanking shots. It's not that fun. I mean, it's a game like, I can see how it would work, but they're going to have to tweak it a lot. And also, I think it was kind of a bad idea to put the demo out as it is, because it is a pre-alpha, but you're still leaving that impression in the minds of the people who play it, of just this kind of like really janky, there's no aim down sights, which
There's
they
no
said was
ADS?
no, there's no ADS, which they said was a deliberate design decision.
Everything is hip fire?
Yeah.
I'm horrified. Oh my god. That's
There's
a
no
really
ADS
interesting-
because, Counter-Strike.
That's a very interesting game choice.
Yeah.
Wait, can you not ADS in Counter-Strike? I haven't played that much.
There's like one or two guns that you can there's like three guns that you can ADS in, but most of them you can't.
Oh wow, okay, I didn't know that.
But yeah, no, it's not fun. It's a tactical shooter. You should be able to ADS. You
Yeah,
should
right?
be able to pick up dropped items. And also, I'm really annoyed with... I feel like games like this should change their stories to where you're like mercenaries or something. It's really... It takes me out of a game when you're playing as a police force and you have to buy your own gear. That shit never made any sense to me.
Yeah, that doesn't
I
make
get
any
it in something like Counter-Strike, where it is the economy itself is a part of the game and the strategy.
Yeah.
But this is a single player game. Well, it's a cooperative game.
Yeah, so having a buy-in doesn't really make any sense then.
Also, it's only going to create animosity when you have people trying to play co-op and you have that one guy on the team that spends all of the cash on loot box gear and just gets nothing of value from it.
Yay.
Yay, Rogue Point. It's it frustrates me when I play a game like this and I just you just see all the bad decisions that are going to culminate in people not wanting to play it. But thankfully, it is a pre-alpha. The developers seemed like they're very receptive of the feedback around it, and that they're using it to make the game more enjoyable. So we'll see how that goes. But yeah, that's the games that I've been playing.
Not a whole lot this week, then. Yeah. On to the news, if we have any.
I do have a few games coming out that I wanted to talk about. The first one is coming out June 26th. It is System Shock 2, the 20th anniversary remaster. Now, I love System Shock 2.
I have not played it, but I know it's the precursor to BioShock.
And this one's coming out. It's going to be $30 when it launches. It's coming out on PC and I believe pretty much all the consoles. It's another Night Dive Studios Looking Glass Games remaster. So it's going to be good. And with the anniversary edition, they're going to have cross-play co-op multiplayer. It's going to have mod support, up to 144 FPS performance with ultra widescreen support.
Ooh.
50 achievements, enhanced characters, weapon models, and animations, controller support, and quality of life improvements. But yeah, June 26th. I really liked System Shock 2. I think that you should go back, because you can probably find it on Good Old Games for like a couple bucks, the original version, and play that. $30 is a great price for a remaster.
It looks really good too. Like the videos on Steam look really nice.
Yeah. So yeah, that one comes out in a few days. The second game that I have is one that you will be familiar with. It comes out on also June 26th. It is Ruffy and the Riverside.
Oh yeah.
Ruffy and the Riverside being a throwback to old N64, PS1 era collectathon games. I really liked the demo for that.
It was a ton of fun. I loved it.
I can't wait to play that when it comes out.
Like all the characters are original. There's so much hand-drawn art in the game.
Mm-hmm.
Like it felt good. Like the everything made sense. Like the characters were really lovable. Like everything about it, I loved it.
And the third game is something that's a little bit more in my wheelhouse. It is coming out tomorrow, June 23rd. It is Ship Inc. Ship Incorporated. It is a wholesome, cozy job simulator where you work in a packing facility and you get orders and you have to get the right package size, prepare the parcels, deliver the orders. Looks very low energy. It was very cute.
I love it. It looks so adorable.
The art is very pixely. It reminds me of like Unpacking and those kind of games. But I don't see a timer anywhere on the screen. And I like games like this where you can just play it at your own pace.
It's
It
really
looks very
cute. I love it.
relaxing. And yeah, it's cute.
Oh, I
That
love how
one,
you have to stack the boxes in the back of the car, in the back of this delivery truck. That's great.
yeah. It looks very, very wholesome, very, very cute. There was a demo at one point, and I guess I missed it. I gotta see if I can find the demo for that. For that's floating around the internet somewhere. But on that note, I do have a few news stories to talk about, and then we'll wrap up. The first news story is Hollywood producer Adi Shankar has acquired the film rights to Duke Nukem.
Oh,
He is
okay.
a producer, director, and screenwriter. And so this is the same guy that developed the Castlevania and the Devil May Cry animated shows for Netflix.
All right.
Listening to his statements about Duke Nukem, I don't think he understands Duke Nukem. Because he did an interview and he said, I'm being approached with different IPs and companies that want to work with me. I bought the rights to Duke Nukem, not the gaming rights. I bought it, but I bought it from Gearbox. It's a middle finger to everybody. When Duke Nukem blew up, a bunch of people sat around trying to turn it into a brand when it's just a middle finger. Duke Nukem can't be made by a corporation because the moment a corporation makes Duke Nukem, it's no longer Duke Nukem. I don't intend on having anyone tell me what to do with this one. Isn't it great when people say a bunch of stuff and nothing at the same time?
Yeah, I don't know what to get out of that because it's like, but Duke Nukem's always been made by a corporation. What are you talking about?
I don't know.
I have no idea what he's talking about. That just sounds like the ravings of a lunatic.
Yeah, Duke Nukem. People get weird about Duke Nukem. Duke Nukem has always been trend chasing. Because Duke Nukem 1 and 2 were very, very standard DOS platformers. Duke Nukem 3D was ambitious. I mean, I love Duke Nukem 3D, but the game was chasing a trend. That being faux 3D, open map-ish shooter games. It wasn't forging its own path.
No.
The soundtrack to the game was barely edging over the line of not stealing from Metallica and other bands of the time. And Duke Nukem himself was just one for one ripping off lines from action movies from the era. And then you have games like you have the PlayStation Duke Nukem games that were chasing Tomb Raider. The games themselves have always been trend chasing. And even Duke Nukem Forever, where you have regenerating health, you have I always love the fact that Duke gets, for as manly of a guy as he is, he gets drunk off of one beer.
He's a cheap date.
Yeah, but Duke Nukem has never been a middle finger to anyone.
I know. What is it talking about? It's always been like I don't want to say discount Doom, but like Doom alternative. Like, if Doom were more relatable and I guess like, more Doom dude bro, I guess.
Yeah. It's very broy, but it's a very milquetoast, like a very PG-13 level of edginess.
Yeah.
Because like the edginess in Duke Nukem was always like, yeah, I got a porn magazine and a gun. Yeah, I like women with big boobs.
Yeah, our shooter has big boobs and bikinis. Like that's what Duke Nukem has been.
I'm looking at a magazine with a woman in a bikini. What are you going to do about that, liberals? I mean, I'm being hyperbolic. I think the most political, the only time Duke Nukem ever got political was during the nuclear winter expansion pack of Duke Nukem 3D. Where you're fighting against feminist elves. I'm serious.
I don't doubt it with Duke Nukem.
But that's literally it. And they don't actually have anything that kind of signify, like, they don't really have any importance to the story. The game just references them as feminist elves. But I fear for what he's going to create, because this is a guy who gave a cameo in the Devil May Cry anime to Asmongold.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, if he's making an anime, it's probably going to be a few years before anything actually comes out, and we'll have long forgotten that this thing was ever announced by the time that comes out.
I'm still amazed by people who think that Duke Nukem is still relevant. Or like it's a popular thing people still want. Like Duke Nukem Forever didn't do well.
No.
No, and
Duke Nukem Forever was not relevant by the time it came out.
No, it wasn't. It took too long. First of all, it was like 23 years of development or some stupid thing. Like it should have just been canceled and like been like, all right, well, we tried. But no, somebody was insistent on putting the damn thing out. They put it out. It didn't do well, to no one's surprise. And now they're trying to make a movie. What? I mean, okay, cool. I guess, sure.
Well, the crazy thing is that Duke Nukem, from what my brain is telling me, I believe when Gearbox bought Duke Nukem, when they bought the IP, releasing Duke Nukem Forever was a stipulation of the sale going through.
Gotcha.
So they were contractually obligated to see it through to completion, which from what I understand, it was something like 95% done anyway. The expansion for Duke Nukem Forever is actually a lot better. And then they released the 20th anniversary edition of Duke Nukem 3D, which was dog shit in many ways, including the new episode that they released. But they've done absolutely nothing with it since then.
Joy.
So we'll see how that is. Second news story. Splitgate 2 developer 1047 Games is laying off staff.
Oh, no.
Now, one thing I will say to the credit of Ian Prolx, as much of a jackass as he is foregoing, him and the other co-founders are foregoing salaries until they can try to get the game in a better place.
All right, that's a good move on them.
He is putting his money where his mouth is. As doomed as the game is, because Splitgate 2 came out about 2.5 weeks ago. It peaked at 25,000 players on Steam concurrent. It has shed roughly 500 to 1,000 peak players a day since then. It peaked last night at 9,000 players.
Oh.
So the game has literally lost something like 70% of the player base in 2 weeks.
That's abysmal.
Mm-hmm. So much for making FPS great again.
Yep.
And also a great way to get your game back up and running is to lay off developers who might be needed to put more content in the game to bring it back around.
So it's a snake eating itself at this point.
Yeah. And I will say, I don't think, for a few things, I don't think the game ever had a chance. It was very, like, they could put all the money in the world into it. It's not going to fix it. The game came out, it had very... Splitgate 1 players, a lot of them didn't come back because of how quickly the studio abandoned Splitgate. People just weren't interested in it. They tried to go the esports route, that didn't work. They tried to pump it up on Twitch, that didn't work. They tried the stunt at Summer Games Fest with the Make FPS Great Again hat was not it wasn't what killed the game, but it was very clearly a Hail Mary move to just get people to pay attention to it, and that didn't work. The CEO is kind of a shithead. We had the whole thing with the $145 cosmetic pack. They slashed the prices pretty quick, but he made a jackass of himself by throwing an ex-employee under the bus and also noting that guy used to work on Call of Duty.
Yeah, like that's a bad thing.
I think Ian might be kind of a man-child.
You think?
But honestly, I don't see that game having much more than much more time ahead of it before they announce that it's going into maintenance mode.
Yeah.
Wrong time, wrong place. Maybe if Splitgate 2 had come out 10 years ago, people would be more receptive to it, but they're not huge fans of arena shooters anymore. They're not, I should say specifically, they're not huge fans of, we have Halo Infinite at home.
Yeah, fair.
Which is really what Splitgate turned into. A lesser Halo with portals. And I do have one more piece of news, and that it's about Stellar Blade.
Ooh, okay.
The folks behind Stellar Blade, the game director, has said that he has no interest in policing fans' creative interests, specifically when asked about adult mods. He did an interview where he said that the protagonist Eve is a very appealing sales point in and of herself. Because of that, she's also subject to preconceived notions, especially overseas. And he said that basically, as long as the mods are not anything that goes over the top, and I think he's talking about like stuff that unlocks things that people are supposed to pay for, probably. But he did say that realistically, there's no way to regulate them. Mods have never been under the full control of developers, and his major concern is people just profiting from them. And he said, I trust that everyone is a mature member of society and will act within common sense, being mindful of sensitive or antisocial content. I don't know what that means.
I don't either, or how that applies, but like I can imagine some mods that, he wouldn't want people using. But really, if you're talking like adult mods, we're thinking more of like, booby mods, like nudie mods, like anything that would increase bust sizes, anything that would remove clothing. Like, I don't have a problem with any of this.
Yeah. There's a bunch of mods on. There's a bunch of reshape mods.
I'm just not sure how
Nexus
people
mod.
would profit from this, so he's worried about something that people can't really do in the first place.
I guess selling mods for money.
That doesn't happen very often, as far as I know.
Not really.
I'm not saying it doesn't happen. I do know that there are paid mods out there where people like request, $5 to download this mod, but that has nothing to do with the company. Or the company that originally made it.
Right.
So it's like, yeah, if people want to charge for the products that they created, I don't have a problem with that. If it is a mod for a game, I really don't have a problem with that.
Yeah, neither do I.
So I don't know what he's worried about. It's again, most people don't charge for mods. Most mods out there are free.
Oh God.
What?
It is the internet.
Yeah.
So someone has modded Stellar Blade to replace Eve with CJ from San Andreas.
Of course.
I feel like that's the benchmark for modding. CJ from San Andreas, Thomas the Tank Engine.
Yep. Shrek.
It's that equivalent of you're not a real electronic device unless someone's figured out a way to run Doom on you.
True. Shrek and Buzz Lightyear.
Oh, I forgot about this from last week. We talked about this. The feet hands mod.
Oh no, not that one. Oh my
I don't want
god.
to look at that picture again.
Don't. Again, I thought it like, when they were doing like the peace sign, I thought it would have been with like the big toe and then the index toe. But no, it's the index toe and the middle toe. Why would you do that? It looks so weird. I don't want to look at that again, please.
There is, what's the biggest number of endorsements?
If any mod could be a paid mod, it would be, I hope it's the feet mod, because then very few people would own it.
We all know how the feet people are. If that mod got locked behind $100 payment, they would be buying it.
They would. Yeah, you're right. They'd pay per foot.
Yes.
They would pay by the foot.
They would pay a subscription to have that mod. I know how foot people are. I know how foot people are. I know several people who are big foot people, and they never stop talking about it. They bring it up in every conversation where feet could possibly be brought up. Oh, there's a Sailor Venus mod.
Ooh, okay, cool.
So yeah, that's the news. I'm glad to see that they're taking more of a proactive approach of like, yeah, there's really nothing we can ultimately at the end of the day, there's really nothing we can do about mods because once they're out there, they're out there. And we can't really, stop the collective community from modding our games.
At least they're taking a realistic approach to it.
Yeah. But on that note, we come to the end of the show. And you can check us out on patreon.com/MMO Fallout. This is Online for Maintenance, the official podcast, theoretically, of MMO Fallout. You can find us on YouTube, podcast places. It's much more popular on YouTube than podcast feeds, but also discoverability on podcast feeds is next to virtually impossible. Where can we find you?
You can find me over at youtube.com/news cartridge. You could also find me on the Sentinels of the Store Discord, where I'm hanging out with friends playing games. And also hosting events from time to time.
Oh boy. I'm actually ahead of the game today. So on that note, I will play us out.
Bye,
Good night.
everybody. Love you. Mwah.